Bro, don't give me attitude, I'll punch you in the head.
Okay, let me start. Hi, my name is Tara and I study law.
Hi, my name is Therese and I study law.
Hi, my name is Evander Holyfield.
Hi, I'm Sunny. I study cultural studies up at the Commerce Centre and the University of Auckland.
Hi, my name is Vita and I'm doing a Masters in Pac Studies.
Faka'apa'apa.
Yeah.
Right? Do you guys think that since we live in like a foreign country, like the whole thing like brother and sister can't be watching TV, brother and sister shouldn't be swearing at each other. Like, do you guys feel like
what, that we can't be watching TV?
Yeah.
No?
No, we actually do.
What? No, we don't.
The VAR, I think the VAR between Samoans and Tongans not heavily, it's not the same.
Like, do you
heavily
like
done.
Well, talk to Evander,
What?
right?
Yeah.
Like Evander just said yeah,
Okay.
but Therese said no.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys think that that's like an outdated concept in 2018?
I just think it depends on like your family, like their basis or like their foundations. In mine, I know Fa'alalo is like top. Like if you're talking about the vow with like brother and sister, like there's certain things like we should talk about or certain things we should watch together in the TV if that's what you're talking about. Like I wouldn't talk to my sister about what like boyfriend girlfriend stuff. That's just and I just reckon in Samoan in general it's like taboo. Like you can't just like end up talking about those kind of stuff, especially with your sister. That like goes back to the whenenga or like the wā. Those things are all important in some culture. I mean, really, like they said, that language is an essential tool where you can find your identity, and if that's part of our language, then it's part of our identity. Whaalalo is, it's even in Whonowhale, a model that's like created by one of our own Pacific leaders. So yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Do you think differently?
I mean, like in our family, whāwalo is like really important, but like the VAR between our brothers and sisters, I wouldn't say is like that strong. If you know what I mean, like we can do a lot with our, I guess, brothers. Like watch TV and that, like that's normal.
Yeah, well, VAR's the space.
Yeah.
It's the relationship you have with them. Would you be explicit about stuff going on in your personal life to your brother?
Well, like my brother is like he would explain stuff to me, like talk about it. I was like, but not like too much. Like I think he would be more comfortable talking to my sister's boyfriend about like that kind of stuff. Yeah. But like we're still like really close and we talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I meant by like the vibe between me and my brother is like, I don't know.
Yeah, but it's
probably
not
like not as like
hardcore, old school.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Vita?
Yeah, same.
As a Tongan, like, how hard was Faka'apa'apa hammered down at your house? Or
we still practice it, but I think we've
adjusted. Did you ever sleep in the same room as your sister?
No. No. But I think like when it comes to like, I feel like we've adjusted with the Faka'apa'apa thing. Like similar to Therese, like the explicit stuff. Like obviously we won't share that, but I think for the ones growing up in New Zealand, the VAR between the brother and sister is not that restricted. Like you can openly talk about things with your sister, and I think it's good that way. I think because I think the Faka'apa'apa is important, but I feel like we shouldn't, because if we're keeping it old school, if we're doing it the traditional way, then there's certain things in the household that's never actually properly talked about because of that VAR. Yeah, and because of that space that you were talking about.
Okay.
So it's good, but
put it like
not
this.
literal.
Would you listen to Tupac's Hit 'Em Up with like a sibling of the opposite gender?
Yeah.
Like full on explicit.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Nah.
No. Just the profanity.
I would, but I don't have a brother.
So you guys would.
Yeah.
But you guys, what about you, Vita?
No, I wouldn't.
No.
Especially in the car, like if it just pops up on the radio.
Yeah.
Like my sister would just automatically change the song. And I was like, I like that song.
Yeah.
But like, you know, she doesn't like it just due to the lyrics of the word. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I feel like when you talk about Faka'apa'apa, listening to a song with swear words, that's fully. I'm talking about like you respect the vow, you respect the Faka'apa'apa, but like you shouldn't be closed off to talking about things that matter, right? Because we talk about Pacific suicide rate and how high it is. It's usually simply because they couldn't even talk to their own family because of the vow.
Yeah.
And so when the vow is that restricted to where you can't even come to your dad and come to your parents or come to anyone in your family and talk about things that that are important, then what's the use of the vow, you know? If the vow restricts you to that extent.
So in a sense, now that it's 2018 and you've just said that,
Yeah.
do you think that Faka'apa'apa and Fa'aloalo is an outdated concept that's killing our people?
I feel like the essence of Faka'apa'apa should be kept, but I feel like the literal meaning, right? Because it's kind of like the Bible, like we like the message, but if we were to keep it literal, no one would be a Christian. No one could certify as a Christian, right? Because if you were a girl, you weren't allowed certain things. If you're a guy, so I feel like that's like the Faka'apa'apa. It's something, especially in the diaspora, that like you can apply, but you can't literally, you know, for the sake of talking to your sister about like what's wrong and if she's all good. I feel like that's things that we should always check in on. Yeah.
The Fa'aloalo is just like a mutual respect. It's not like closing off a door for you to talk to your brother or sister. It's just certain stuff shouldn't be said and certain stuff shouldn't be like
what if that certain stuff is
and
very
there's
important?
ways you could talk. I
Like
mean,
it's
you wouldn't
intrinsically
always
important.
go talk to your like sister. I'm sure like you have, if you're a guy you'll go talk to your dad, and if you're a girl you'll talk to your mom. There's other ways around it. I mean, the vibe is just between a boy and a girl, like certain things. It's not really attacking like.
What if your sister wanted to talk to you about boys?
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't talk to her about that?
No, but that's something my
Like,
sister
how far
would
would
do.
you go to talk to her about that kind of stuff? Like,
I don't know. I wouldn't know. I haven't been in that position before, but yeah, I know when the time comes.
Like, you wouldn't advise her to go for guys that aren't like you?
Oh.
I
I thought we're having a good
Get
one.
her!
Since we're going down this road.
Get her.
Oh,
Fatality.
you said your.
Nah, I'm
Not
just leaving.
peace.
Sleep it in.
I just leave
Be
it.
the bigger man.
Just be the bigger man.
I reckon it's just the way you're brought up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
your house.
Mm.
Like how you're brought up is how you deal with like
Yeah.
the vow. If your parents said you guys could talk about it, then that's fine. But where I come from, nah.
Yeah.
I reckon Fight Love is annoying. That's what I reckon they are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What do you? What are your Faka'apa'apa and like Faka'apa'as, all that sort of stuff?
Annoying.
Annoying.
It keeps our people in poverty.
Like the Fua Kavenga
straight
and
up.
stuff.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, what are your stance on it?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's reciprocal.
I-
And if it is reciprocal, I agree. But if you're if you're like doing all of these cultural duties and they're not reciprocal, then I feel like that's probably when it's a problem.
But
there.
since when did our culture involve money? That's the thing.
Since
It never was until the colonial people came and
Why
introduced money.
we?
Okay.
Well,
So, I mean,
I-
that's
the
thing
it.
is-
But
the thing
what
is-
Teresa's saying, it's true. It's actually making our people stuck in the
But the thing
financial
is that we took
Yeah.
hole.
we took the money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we used it as a tool,
Yo.
yeah,
But now it's getting
Right.
over the top.
right?
That's the thing.
It just goes over the top because we're over the top
It's-
people.
we live in a capitalistic society, my friend.
This is
You cannot avoid money. Like so, culture had to adapt to money.
Yeah.
We had to. Like
Yeah.
it's
yeah,
that's
we
how the
had
world
to, but
works.
there's a limit that you can, not
Who
to the
puts
point that you're broke.
that limit, you know.
I'm just saying. That's
Yeah,
not
but
true.
Who puts that limit? Who
again,
says where the
again,
limit is?
like who says that limit that this is the X amount you should give
Yeah.
at your
I
Yeah.
enjoy Fight Love and Love.
I don't know.
Actually,
I
yeah,
love.
Fight Love
Wait,
and Love.
I do.
Because
Honest to God, I do.
how much?
For the
What is
sake
it?
of this argument,
No, I'm
yeah.
talking about the money.
For this,
I love
money
the
has
culture,
nothing-
It's so
except that.
dumb.
Nothing
Okay.
has to.
But I
Fa'alava
mean-
lava is not all about money.
Okay, so
No,
do you,
but
wait.
sorry,
So
but
I think
it's
I think Tara is suggesting that we go back and grab the leaves and
I'm
all
not
of the,
suggesting
you know,
anything.
like
I'm not
we're talking about
suggesting anything.
traditional
And the
things.
yams.
Put it into a leaf
Okay, now you're
bag,
putting words
grab
in
the
my mouth.
yams, put it in,
Okay,
and give
okay.
it to the whāwhia so he
Let
could
us
eat
speak to you, let us
yams
speak to
for the
you.
rest of the month.
Yeah.
Even
Okay,
though money
okay.
could have bought him
He's a
different
yam,
things.
he's
Yeah, he'll
Okay.
give the yams to his landlord because that's how it works in a non-capitalistic world that Tara
Okay,
lives
I
in.
mean, I hear you, but I'm just saying, I love my culture, but I
Money
just don't like that
rules the
aspect.
world, no,
And yeah, you're right. Fa'alawalavas don't always have money, but when it comes to like, we're talking about. I'm not saying everything about the culture. I'm not saying everything about Fa'alawalavas. I'm talking about the point, like the situation where. Why are you laughing?
No.
No, I'm just saying, like what Therese said.
Yeah.
I totally agree with what she pointed out.
Yo.
There's
Church
nothing wrong.
Fa'alawalavas are the worst. Like, honestly.
Church fa'alava lava is
I
my
love
favorite.
sitting through Elise's
Church
birthday.
fa'alava
Oh,
is
sorry,
my favorite.
graduation when they
Graduation
gave
was
the
great.
And they gave $10,000.
the parents were a freaking baller, man. That's my man right there. Shout out.
Aww.
Well, we.
Yo.
I kiss you on the forehead.
But I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Do you feel like pastors should be paid? We're talking about money, talking about pastors. Why not?
Well,
Do
they
you feel
are
like
doing a
pastors-
job.
It depends because that is their job.
Anyways,
so-
fa'alava lava is good.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. It's bad.
It depends where, like,
You guys
how
are-
you take it.
Fa'alawalavas is
Talk my
for
memory
people
card
who
full.
like, for people you don't even know, like family members that you don't even know, that weren't even there for you. Like, I think that's dumb. Like, you go give money to these funerals that, for like people you don't even know who
Oh, it's
died.
off. It's off, Reese.
But I'm just saying. I'm just
No,
saying.
that was still on.
This camera's going.
No, I'm just saying.
Keep talking.
So shut
Oh,
up.
that camera
Okay,
gone.
okay?
Reese.
Oh.
Fight him! Fight him!
But do you know what I mean?
See, Reese talks about fa'alava
Just
lava
let
that she's
her
never ever
speak.
done before.
Oh my god!
Oh,
Evander!
No,
Evander.
I have.
Like,
Just-
the
That is
fa'alava
the
lava-
point.
The fa'alava lava,
Finish
right,
first.
has been like interpreted so much.
Oh my gosh.
Like the fa'alava lava, right, is part of your culture. It's not
We're
something
not
where
saying there's anything
Yeah,
bad.
okay.
We're
You
just
just
saying
did.
that.
You
No,
just
wait a
did.
minute.
No,
You had your chance.
No, wait,
Right.
wait. Let Evander speak.
like how it comes back to fa'aloalo.
No,
Yeah.
there's
Those all
not.
they all
Nah.
do. See, that's how you know a kid does not know what fa'alava lava
Yeah.
is. When someone from your family.
Is for Aotearoa.
When someone dies from your family, you have to take what we call a city. That's showing fa'aloalo. That's
You
important.
don't get the point.
Money does not necessarily
get
have to
it.
come into this
You don't get it.
at all. No, you don't get
You
it
don't
because
get
you
it.
don't understand. You've only
my
heard of about
gosh.
fa'alava just not long ago.
Do you want to
Honestly,
Tell them, man.
fa'alava is important. If
Yeah.
you say, oh no, we need to keep to our roots, then fa'alava comes all into it.
Yeah.
You can't just like pick and choose what you like about your culture. This comes into it. Like
Nah.
when a pastor comes over to your house, that's still a fa'aloalo.
The index finger. Catch the index
Wait a
finger.
minute.
Yeah,
Can I-
yeah,
No, no,
Kids
no.
these
But
days, right?
wait.
They're born here. Kids
Yeah.
these days that are born here. I'm born here, right? I grew up like that. I hated fa'alava. Clap for me, honestly. Clap for me.
You have two ways of when
Two
a
ways.
comes. It's either you contribute or you just make yourself look like an ass.
But see,
And
that's
then you'll
the-
be
that's
known
the
as
part
that
of the
person at
culture that I
church
hate.
that doesn't think.
Like,
If you
if
don't-
someone
if
comes
you
to
don't-
like,
like, yeah,
yeah,
you have
then
to-
they look
yes,
like, then they like
shame
portrayed as an
kind of,
ass.
Yeah.
But some families just can't afford it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what it means?
It means leverage.
But what I'm saying is that
From my understanding, a fa'alava is an interruption.
Yeah.
It's an interruption to normal living, and you go and give offerings to people out of respect or celebration, and it's very similar to taking a hala for a funeral, taking a tokonaki for a birthday or a wedding, and taking a faka'apa'apa for a church thing. It's like an invitation, it's like you're taking part in something. So, from my understanding, it takes means for you to take part in the fa'alava, in the faka'apapa, in Fua Kavenga in general, right? What this is like a commentary on what you feel like, how can people afford, or how can it be, how can fa'alava or, you know, any of that be sustainable, right, for our normal families who are willing to take part in the culture but just don't have the means to be a part of it. So I'm keen to get your ideas on that.
Yeah.
You
Go,
lost,
go.
you lost
Ask him.
me. I didn't know what you just asked.
No, he was saying like,
Mm.
he's pretty much saying like, for them to be able to do their stuff, what are ways that they can like adjust by financially to have the money to give and still kind of get through.
Yeah, so instead of being like, because I've
You
seen,
know, instead of suffering.
I've
after-
seen like, man, my family's perpetually in debt as well, doing that sort of stuff. But the thing is though is that I can also see, you know, that my parents are so keen to give that to the point that it's stupid,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But the thing is though is that I've also seen my parents receive,
Tenfold.
right?
Tenfold. Tenfold.
And
That's
that's
the,
and that's the thing. Like it's biblical, right?
Yeah.
Where they say, you know, give 10% of your tithe or whatever, tithe 10% and you receive, you know, tenfold. But what if you can't give at all? What if you have nothing to give?
It's 2018. I feel like people
It's
have
not working.
always. Yeah, it's not working.
Like for real.
But the problem
it isn't.
is if we
For
sit
the-
and
for-
like, oh, I remember Lynn, when we went to Samoa, they were telling me this is how their family does it. So once a month they do this thing where they chip in for their family stuff, right? And so that when something unexpected happens, it's not like a, oh shit, like get out your last penny and use it. They already kind of have the system working, right? And it works.
yeah.
But the problem is that in the diaspora now, a lot of the families don't save. They don't invest. They don't do anything. And I get it. Some families
Well, they
can't.
can't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Okay. And if they can't, then, well, I think that's it. But the families that can, and I think what annoys me the most is that a lot of the majority of the people who complain about, like, the giving don't even give. Don't even fucking
Yeah, who are they? Yeah.
Wow.
I hear my cousins
Who are they?
come to me and talk all about Missiona and all of the that they given. I've never seen them touch their pockets. Yet they have the courtesy to
Why are
tell
they
us.
flipping our way?
Yet they have the courtesy to talk about Pacifica struggle.
I pay my tithe offering.
I'm like, God damn. Okay, tithe and offering is
Tithing-
cool.
tithing's
We're talking
church,
about
that's
like
different.
major events here,
Yeah.
like major family, cultural
Yeah.
stuff.
Always
Right,
for the-
because
No, I think Vita is right. It's just that I think
But eat all of yourself.
I think with this kind of thing, it depends on each family and the structure and the system that they have. Like Vita talking about support systems, there are people who have extended families, so everyone is chipping in and, you know, something that's great like that. But my parents specifically, we don't have an extended support system. So my parents are literally contributing on their own. My dad works 2 to 3 jobs. My mum has to work all day. And me and the girls, we do contribute, thank you very much. So don't put it this way. No, but we do.
I too in
girls,
Auckland.
us girls, look, I'm just going to say this. That us girls, even though we were New Zealand born and raised in New Zealand, doesn't mean that we're that plastic. Like, we know our place. And we know what we need to contribute.
I feel like it's,
But I'm just saying that
I feel like the
sometimes
shoes-
when you don't have that support system, you can't contribute. You can't. You know what I mean, Isoa? You know what I mean? But I agree with Vita
Yeah.
that, you know.
Well, see, look, that's the funny thing. The family that were, like, Lynn's family, sorry, Lynn, if you see this, but, like, they're in Sangone, Savai, right? And they managed to make this work. And we're in New Zealand, attending this fancy tertiary education, and we're complaining about, oh my God, everyone gets study link every week. Somehow, it's too little now. Like, the problem with this is I feel like in New Zealand, it's not reciprocal or we don't make it reciprocal. And millennials, man, we just want to sit back and complain about everything. Look at this, this culture. Look at this,
Well, the thing is, though, is that it's
Mama should have spat you out.
Oh!
Yeah, Therese.
No, none of my sisters, none of them.
Therese, what did you want to say? Therese, what did you want to say?
I have a
Mama
lot
should
to
have
say,
spat
man.
you
I have a
out.
lot.
Well, the thing is that you said study link. We're here in New Zealand. We all have that.
Yeah.
But Auckland is unaffordable.
And move! Everyone moves! They move!
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
I have a counter
Yeah,
to that.
move.
Yeah.
Wait, how could you tell me to move?
Okay.
My whole life
Oh,
is here.
okay, Vita,
I'm
you go.
established here.
Yeah.
It's just unrealistic.
Tongans have discovered something that the rest of the New Zealand knows but don't want to do. They live in Oamaru. It's the same living wage. It's the same amount, but it's just you just live better. They own houses. They work the same jobs. I want you to stay, but I want the rest of these guys to. Everyone knows it's a struggle to live in Auckland, but they still stay here and yet they whinge and they whinge. Brother, do something.
I have 3 jobs. You know I have 3 jobs.
And we have 2, and we're struggling. But the thing is, we all know that outside of Auckland, it's just a better living, right? We just don't want to move.
We just don't want to move.
That's true.
So if you don't want to move, then stop complaining. Let me complain. You know Oamaru will pay the same rate. You'll just be able to rent a house or buy a house.
Yeah.
So Tongans have been doing it, man. They're the majority ethnicity in Oamaru right now.
Yeah.
They have a rugby club that's named a Tongan friggin' name.
Hamilton and Rotorua is cheap as well.
Down south. But they have meatworks and they have job availability. Like, if you complain about Auckland, get out of Auckland, man. If you can't survive the heat.
She doesn't
even know what the concept is.
I feel like
It's a sense of belonging.
I never said I was born.
Nah, I think it's just like a sense of belonging. Like, you know, we see lots of people like move to Australia and that, and all of a sudden they only last like 2-3 months or like a year or so, and they end up coming back. And they pay like more than what they were paying last time they were staying in Auckland. But it's because they say like, you know, they're homesick or they just miss being crowded.
It's because you lose their sense of community.
Yeah.
You know what they say, like, a person will live a lot longer if he's in the community, partakes in the community, belongs to a community. But then if he moves out and is kind of seen like as a foreigner, it takes a long time to establish that relationship.
But to what extent does community matter when you can't survive?
Yeah.
Right?
I think the same scenario of what Vito was saying.
What would Jesus do?
The same reason why our parents left the islands.
Yeah.
They left.
That's
You
it,
know,
man.
they left the village.
That's it. And what people who have migrated constantly, like, what is the sense of community in Auckland? The most racist place in New Zealand, but okay.
Christchurch.
Actually, I take that back. Christchurch is worse. But yeah, you get what I mean. Like, we have no place in New Zealand.
So you just told me to
Maybe to Oamaru, if you want to own a house. My uncle lives there. That's how I
He's
know.
not telling you to get lost. He's telling you to like live better
Yeah, man.
elsewhere.
They pay the same rate. They're still $17, but you can actually buy a house, brother. You can't buy a house in New Zealand.
Come on, brother.
In Auckland, sorry. But you can in
But
Oamaru.
will they pay me $30 to do what I do here?
No. But you'll be able... You'll get opportunities, that you can't get here. You won't get a house here for like...
He's right.
Lazy Mills, right?
Yeah.
In Oamaru, it's about 250,000. You can own a house. House.
You heard it here first.
Over here, it's the Auckland dream that one day your grandparents or your parents or whatever will own a house. But man, over there you can make it a reality. So, yeah, sense of belonging. These
What are you gonna
nuts.
say, Reese?
Oh yeah. What I wanted to talk about is like with Fua Kavenga.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
the ship is sailed.
No. With the
Goodbye. Can't get there. I'm not seeing the Pacific.
I want to take it back.
She doesn't
Like,
know what it
you know
means.
when families don't, like, there's some families that can't afford to give, so they
I know
don't
they're ganging
give.
up on me.
I just hate how there's, like, shame, like, a lot of shame around that. Like,
Wait,
family
what
not
is
giving.
this? This isn't like Street Fighter. You can't just introduce the new player.
Oh, well, you can. Because there are more Samoans than Tongans, so shut your mouth.
What the hell, baby?
He's Tongan.
Better
Where you going? Get my bike. No,
Where's going on?
Are you scared? Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. Introduce yourself, please, sir.
Now we can
Or
talk
madam.
about conversation.
Please, madam. Please, my Tongan housewife, please introduce yourself.
Malole le ko hoki o ko matea sto fohe ko lele mai me hapai ko lo
Whereabouts in Hawaii?
bangai hato fele mea.
I'm gonna be related to you. So I
Same.
didn't tell the world.
Okay.
I don't want you to have the shame of being related to me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, what were we talking about?
Sense of
Therese wants
belonging.
to-
Oh, Reese was gonna say her view.
Oh, yeah, Therese.
No. Matai, you bring up. We're talking about Fua Kavenga.
Yeah, can you talk about
Like,
Fua
what's the
Kavenga and give a
Tongan,
definition about why you're at it?
Fua Kavenga.
Fua Kavenga. And this
And
guy,
of all the
Fua
people, you
Kavenga.
know about
Matai will
Fua
have a
Kavenga.
Okay.
Matai died.
So do you think it's they were saying it's a bad thing?
First.
Do you think it's a bad
You
thing
say-
that Fua
okay.
Kavenga?
Fua Kavenga, I think, is not a bad thing, just because you're practicing basically your own culture, and to come from a like negative way of like looking at fa'alavelave and like Fua Kavenga, that's like a very Balangi sort of view. It's not good for us to go like, yeah, it takes a lot of money, yes. It's a lot of expense towards Fua Kavenga, but at the end of the day, you're Tongan for a reason, so stop complaining and get your together.
Hey, man,
He
but
said-
Mate Ma'atonga.
What about families that actually can't afford to?
That's what they were talking.
What about the
So
they like to
literally
bring in
can't
sad
afford to just, like-
situations.
Yeah, well,
to
if they literally can't,
counter.
there's nothing wrong with the truth, so you have to be open, have that open discussion with your family.
But do you believe that there's a lot of shame around like families not giving? Families who can't afford to like contribute to whālawe-laves?
Shame? Yeah, I think there will be some set shame, but like at the end of the day, it's reciprocal. So if you talk a lot about one family member, one way or another, it will come back to you. So people will start talking to you. So just be kind to people, be open about these discussions,
Open your
and be
legs.
truthful.
High five again, brother. The
It's
relationship between a
Faka'apa'apa
brother and a sister.
outdated in 2018.
I think there are certain, there's a time and place for Faka'apa'apa. So there's like like for example, you can't, like for me, I shouldn't be talking to my sister about like my sort of sexual exploits, for example, because that's just disrespectful. It's that whole sacred relationship with the brother and the sister. But like in other cases, I think it's outdated in terms of like traditionally you weren't allowed to be in the same room as your sister if she was sitting in the same room. So with the concept of like TV in the modern times, like it's kind of, I think that's kind of outdated in terms of Faka'apa'apa. But in terms of like anything to do with sexual, anything to do with your experiences, anything that like can raise up some sort of like a question mark over the sacred relationship between the brother and sister, that should be Faka'apa'apa and just restricted to that.
High five one more time. Oh my gosh. That's how it's said.
What about you, Sonny? You've been sitting awfully
Yes,
quiet.
Sonny.
Yes, Sonny.
Yeah.
What are your ideas around the whālawe-lawe?
Talanoa and Faka'apa'apa.
I'm sure you've done a lot of whālawe-laves.
Can you come and fa me?
Fa.
I can't really say much, you know.
Do it again if you don't enjoy it.
I see a lot of fellows and like, you know, some work, some don't. The thing I don't get the most is when it's that way where like you do a whālawe-lawe, and then you have like those families that go back home and they're like, oh, you know, they didn't do it properly, or like they just end up backstabbing you.
Yeah.
Like they end up saying, oh, you know, they didn't do it right, like they didn't do it properly, like
Yeah.
they didn't spend much on this and that, and that's why the whālawe is all crap and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I don't get the most, you know.
Yeah.
And like, you know, maybe those families have been through like rough times and they don't have much money to like you know, put on like a decent funeral or something like that, or wedding, you know. Yeah. So
But God knows.
Yeah.
only God
Yeah.
knows.
God knows.
Yeah,
Like for me personally, being like looking at from an outsider's perspective, like for the Samoan whālawe-lawe, it's very different to like the Tongan Fua Kavenga. So in Tonga, like you know your place. You know if you are the whahu, for example, you get all the thing, like all the Kavenga. But if you are on the side where you're not the whahu, you're the ones who should be Fua Kavenga. So like in terms of talking about, how do you say it?
Whālawe.
Yeah, and Faka'apa'apa, Fua Kavenga. Like it, for me, I think it's kind of different.
I noticed that
Yeah.
we all get our turn, right?
Yeah, we do.
Like-
Especially in Tonga.
Like, what is it? I noticed that
He's
9
not coming
times
back.
out of 10, I never get. I'm always like I'm always in the kitchen,
Yeah.
right? At stuff. But then that one occasion where I'm either
It's your birthday.
not me. It's my birthday. Or say there was this one occasion when my dad was the whahu. I was like, of all the things, my dad, when my dad's sisters were there, my dad's older brothers were there, they should have been whahu, but my dad was whahu. Because they chose him to be whahu. And it was weird. But then at the same time, I was like, you know what?
That's
this-
the
I
new.
didn't- Yeah, but
That's
yeah,
a new
that's
thing.
a new thing. But at the same time, I was like, oh,
Have you realized that?
this is you know, this is praise the good Lord Jesus that we get our turn,
Yeah.
but don't get used to it.
But that's a new thing too. Like, you know, how Matai was talking about like fahos, they already get their positions. But nowadays, the kids often the fahu system made.
Yeah.
They would choose another person that they prefer, that they
yeah.
think
That's what I've heard
has
as well,
kept the va.
they want to choose,
Yeah.
they prefer someone
So
else
like,
over the other.
so like,
Yeah.
yeah. You know
So-
what I mean?
yeah,
And
so
that's
that
a
was-
new concept, because back then it wasn't spoken.
So that was exactly what happened at
With
that
your dad's
birthday,
case. Yeah.
with my dad's case, and that's also what happened with my grandpa's funeral last
Yeah.
year. He chose my auntie.
Yeah, see? Even
Because-
though rightfully
Yeah.
it's someone else, yeah.
It should be the oldest one, but then my grandpa was like, no.
But they the system.
Final views.
Alright,
Yeah.
I'm up.
Love it.
Okay.
Oh, you go first.
You're starting from your side.
My side. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with our love lovers. I don't have anything against it. It's just the result that comes out of it. In terms of stigma and shame to those who can't afford it, and if they don't do it properly, because you know, as a Samoan, you want it perfect, you want it perfectly done. So we try our best to at least give as much money as we can and make it right. But yeah.
My final views. Oh, I still think that but lovers are outdated. And I still think that they keep a lot of our Pacific families in poverty. And I will stand by what I think.
I just love the whole idea around Faka'apa'apa, and yeah, that's it for me. Just yeah, Faka'apa'apa will always be Faka'apa'apa. Will never change.
Give him a kiss.
That was pretty open.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like they're good concepts and they're important concepts to our culture, but I feel like with a lot of things we've just had to adjust, especially those that live in the diaspora, right? Because we can't do certain things that we can do back in the homeland. So we've adjusted these concepts into our lives, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. But the system example was a system that works, and it doesn't always work. I get it. There's people that can't have a extended family system where they chip in and they save for certain events and stuff. But it is a good system. It's working.
And for me, yeah, I think in terms of like the whole Tongan Fua Kavenga, it's basically up to what you, like, it's up to you. So it's up to you if you want to give more than beyond your means. But at the end of the day, I think Fua Kavenga is a beautiful thing to the Tongan culture. I think Faka'apa'apa is also a beautiful thing to our culture, and that's what keeps being Tongan quite a special thing to me personally.
Oh, that's
What about you?
What
What's
about
your
me?
final?
Oh, to be honest, go.
That wraps it up.
Nah. I'm in the middle of it. I will. My dad, bro.
Same.
My dad turned around and, I'm not tooting my own trumpet right now or anything, but earlier this year my dad was in a mood and he was really because we had no money to give towards the church thing. And then I got paid and then I gave him 90% of my pay and he was happy. So the reason why I did that specific thing was for my dad. I have no idea why, but I did it, and I know that a lot of us here will do a lot of things for our parents. Maybe we're doing it for the wrong reason. We should be doing it for God, but I feel like for me, that's God personified because they gave life to me, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's my way of giving back, and maybe that's why I'm still a sucker for misinale and all that sort of stuff.
I love it.
I'll do it because
Oh,
it keeps
okay.
me in tune with my culture, knowing that I don't. You know what? I don't even care that they did it as a westernized sort of ideal from missionaries, but they did it out of duty for culture, for the land, and for God.
Intentions was there.
Right? So that's the reason why I'll do it. And if I can afford to carry on doing it, then that's cool. If not, then I guess I'll become Balami.
Well, if we keep
That's
earning
so
for
rad.
labour, then
That's
Never
yeah.
let it go
national
away.
up.
Never.
then petrol will go even higher so that we can just use the YY Express, walk everywhere.
Oh,
Like-
Tara
like
knows about
Tara.
the YY.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, she comes from a generation of YY Express.
I hope they're wearing shoes when they YY.
Just socks.
Is the cut?
Love you, Isoa.
Hold on.
Opinion área demasiado conflicto en la sociedad. Gracias.
Shut the hell up.
Can we get a shot of our hecklers over here?
Yes, no people. Yes, no people.
This is our first. Oh wait. Oh no wait. Luke was our original.
Oh my gosh, the lighting is so good.